YouTube fam, what is good? Welcome back to another episode of Marv's Room. Thank you guys, as always, for joining yours truly. Listen, I wanted to hop on here today, man, and make this video to explain to you guys your ultimate test. Your ultimate test as a conscious creator is not the work that you do before you manifest what you want. It's your reaction to all the things that are gonna happen once you get what you want to manifest. That's the ultimate test. That is 100% the ultimate test. The work that you do prior to getting your manifestation versus the work that you do while you have your manifestation is two different things. And I can't stress this enough. I'm not sure if you guys really understand this, but let me preface my comments by saying this. For those that have been following me for a long time, you guys know I take there is no one size fits all approach to this law of attraction stuff, because you cannot say that one way is going to work for everybody. There's over 7.5 billion people in this world. There is no one size fits all. There isn't one way to do anything in life. There's multiple ways to do everything in life. So what I'm saying is not going to be true for some, but it will be true for a lot of people. So what do I mean? Understand this. All the affirming that you do prior, for instance, your specific person, all of the affirming that you do, you know, trying to get them to think about you or to text you, or all of the living in the end that you do to try to create a scene to help them come back into your life. All of that stuff is fine and dandy. But your ultimate test is going to be the work that you actually do once they come back. How do you keep it? How do you keep that? How do you keep your SP in your life? How do you keep your manifestation in your life? Or how do you keep that money? How do you keep that perfect job? You know what I'm saying? And that ultimately shows you, did you do the work before you got what you wanted? That shows you your level of true self-concept, your level of confidence. Because from what I'm seeing and working with people all over the world, is it's very easy to affirm and to say things and to talk real heavy. As you guys know, I like to say talk heavy, or, you know, talk all big and bad when you're single, you know, like you have it all figured out. You know what I mean? But once you get back into a relationship, or once your SP comes back, you know, and this even happened to myself, it's so easy falling back into old habits, into old thinking patterns, into old, pretty much anything. And that's why it's so important to do the work on yourself. And that's how you really know if you worked on your self-concept, is by paying attention to the work that you're doing when you don't have what your desires are. You know, so once you get those desires that you really want, you know, especially if it's a specific person, that's how you know that you really have a strong self-concept. But like I said, in working with a lot of people around the world, I realize most people really don't have a strong self-concept. You think you have a strong self-concept because your self-concept when you're single versus your self-concept when you're in a relationship, again, for most people, those are two different self-concepts. It's easy when you're single to say, I'm the prize, I'm first best, I matter, I'm cherished. But when you get into a relationship, what I see with a lot of people is when you get into a relationship, and how are you going to respond when your SP doesn't text you back right away? How are you going to respond when hours go by and you feel like, man, I haven't heard from my SP? How are you going to feel when your SP cancels those dinner plans? How are you going to feel when your SP chooses work over hanging with you? How are you going to feel when your specific person chooses their purpose for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks over seeing you? How are you going to feel when 6 months goes by and you're still in contact with your SP, but you don't see them for whatever reason, and you guys are in the same city and you're only 20 minutes away or 30 minutes away? How are you going to respond to these circumstances once your specific person is back into your life? Those are two different things, guys. Guys gotta understand. You got to understand those are two different things. And so that's why I want you to know you're not going to really be tested. Like the stuff that you're doing when you're single, yeah, that's fine and dandy. Like you're still being tested as you're being single. But the real test is not going to start until you get back into that relationship with your specific person and you fall back into those old traps, those old thought patterns of feeling second best because they don't answer when you want them to answer. You know, feeling second best or third best because they don't want to hang out with you this weekend because they chose to work over, you know, being with you or being around you or whatever the case may be. That's the ultimate test. And that's why it's extremely important for a lot of people to not run from doing the work on yourself, to enhancing your self-concept. Because when you really enhance your self-concept, when you get into a relationship with another person, you no longer feed off of their energy. You no longer need their energy. You no longer need their approval. You know, a lot of times in relationships, we seek the approval of our specific person so much that when we don't get it, it feels like the end of the world. It feels like your oxygen has been cut off. Like you're going to literally die at times. You know what I mean? And as drastic as that sounds, that's how a lot of people, you know, make it sound like. That's how a lot of people feel. So I want you guys to keep that in mind when it comes to manifesting anything, but especially a specific person. Understand your real test does not begin until you get them back and you see how you respond in your relationship. That will determine if your self-concept is really strong or not. That'll determine on a scale of 1 to 10, are you at an 8 or a 9 or a 10? Until you get into that relationship with your SP again, you can sit here and do all the affirmations you want, all of the, you know, I'm first best, all of the living in the end. But like I said, ultimately what I'm seeing and working with people is we fall right back into the same negative patterns that we had prior to getting into a relationship with our specific person. You know, when we were with them, we fall back into those same traps that we were in old relationships before the SP, old SPs. We fall back into that, oh, I need your validation. I need your love. I need your, you know, praise, your worship, all of that type of stuff. Using all of those, you know, phrases and language, you know. So keep your eyes open for that, man. Keep your eyes open for that. Because you might be in this phase where, you know, you're being tested, ultimately tested, because this is the ultimate test. All right, guys, it's been another episode. Yours truly, Marv's Room. See you guys next time. You know where, you know when.